Hey guys, I've been trying to make this video a few times and I never really managed to get past like 5 minutes. But I'm only gonna say this pretty much like one time because not even my friends know the whole full story or like the deep parts of my rock bottom, how I felt during it and everything. And a lot of time during that time I didn't know a lot of my friends. So they don't really know what it was like during that moment. And I'm not exactly a person who, I was kind of raised to deal with my own emotions, so explaining it feels a little tough. So, yeah. Anyways, that's the first minute intro. So let's get into it. um, so a little background, right? I was cyber schooled. Cyber school, known as online school, a lot of people are more familiar with it now because of COVID. And I did it because I was traveling as a kid a lot, which meant I was like also did not have a lot of friends, or when I had friends, they were more interested in my life than me, and that was specifically shit. But, um, yeah. So now there's the other background. So around fifth grade, right? I think for everyone that was a shit year. It's like they randomly just give you hard work and just if you just it if you did not pay attention for the last 4 years because they were so easy, the fifth year is like, what the fuck? Um, and that happened. And for me, my decision was to basically become lazy and not take it seriously and pretty much almost fail. I'm only saying this because it's gonna come in later. um, I almost failed, and you know that was a big deal for a lot of people, including me in the end. And my teacher kind of went to my principal and was like, "Bro, let her through." um, that changed me a lot. I took classes a lot more seriously after that. I went from an F student to C's and D's, and then to having B's, and then A's, and then A pluses eventually, honor student. And I worked really hard, you know, and I made it to like the top 10 out of like 1,800 students or some shit like that. But the moment I reached that point, I had to move. And the moving thing was I went from a city to a countryside, which means I would be a lot less around people. I was already introverted, so it was okay, but it was like if I wanted to do any clubs or anything, I would have to go drive 45 minutes. And as someone who um, doesn't have a license back then, so it wasn't great. It wasn't a great decision for a teenager. And yeah, and during that transition, because it was also a different state that had like horrible online schooling options, we decided that I would be going into homeschooling. So teachers, classmates to no one. And you had to build your own curriculum and rely on online schooling. Includes still paid school taxes, which is really annoying. Um, I worked really hard just for everything to be taken away and to be so lost because I had no idea what to do. The problem with the school system is that they don't necessarily teach you how to learn. They teach you how to memorize, especially in the States with like multiple choice, right? So I didn't get very far. I overestimated myself and I had no idea what I was doing when I was doing it, and that constant idea, I have work, I have work, I have work, never left my mind. It burnt me out to the point that I could have easily slept 16 hours, 20 hours a day if no one interrupted me. You know, I became very bitchy, very loss of energy. That was my beginning of my lone era, I guess. Because, that was more lonely than the lone era, but it was kind of before that. And during that same time, when I needed someone, I didn't really have anyone because, when you move, you lose friends, which is great. Um, and during that time when I really needed a friend of like 10 years at that time, they weren't there for me. And it sucked. And I had trust issues after that. And, you know, eventually I did stress eat and gain a lot of weight. I wouldn't take care of myself mentally, emotionally. I just kind of was hitting extreme sadness. I don't want to call it depression because I don't think it was depression. It was just that point of where I would felt so out of energy all the time. It was like the saying "I'm tired" was like at its max. Yeah. I didn't really have anyone around my age either. Anyone around my age were just like, yeah, no. It just wasn't me. It wasn't anyone I could get along with, and there were no sports around me that I could join because I didn't go to the school system or to school. Yeah. So I was left alone. And yeah, that's kind of my story. What from that whole experience, I learned a lot. I learned how to take care of myself. I learned how to communicate with myself, with others. I learned how to learn. I learned how to actually manage some of my time. Still really bad at it, but over the time I've had schedules that starting at 2 in the morning and then some at 2 p.m. I had to learn different schedules and traveling helped with that. But yeah, to sum it up, um, it's been hard to start. And a friend, I was talking to a friend, and they kind of helped me realize, and I kind of blamed it on because I don't know what's going to happen when I start, and if it's going to succeed, can I handle it? And that was kind of the realization where it's like the fear is not the unknown, it's more the fact that I don't have enough faith in myself. Because the last time I did, I kind of broke down really hard. And that was the most difficult to get out of. And I'm still struggling with it, but it's gotten a lot better over a while. And it's a big reason why I took a gap year. Because the gap year was kind of like a way of getting back emotionally to recover. And over that time, I gained a lot of great friends, people that I trust, people who understand me, who I know would be there if I needed them. And I learned how to learn, and the ideas are finally coming back, and I know how to communicate, and I know what it feels like to really need someone and have no one there. So yeah. Um but yeah, that's gonna be the end of this video. I don't know how this is gonna turn out on it's I promised that on this channel I'll try to be as vulnerable and honest as like I can allow myself to be. And I've talked about this only a few times, but never really in detail. And, there are a lot of parts about this point in my life where it's like, one point I had people pitying me, people who I've not seen for years realize how bad I've gotten. and it was just a hard recovery. And again, it was not like anyone died or anything like that. It was just a big kick. So yeah. Anyways, I think everyone has a story of where they just felt super alone. And I know in those moments I really just wanted to talk to someone but didn't have anyone, and that loneliness was unmatched. And yeah, and that's kind of where my alone era started. And yeah. Okay. Now this is for real the end of the video. If you guys are curious about the Discord community, I'm working on it, and I'm thinking about turning it into the Alone Era community, kind of what it's going to be called, where people who have been through the Alone Era or are going through it can communicate it with each other. Because in that moment of your life, it's really helpful to have someone there and not be alone. And if you need to be alone, you can still be. It's just also an opportunity channel. You know, if you have an opportunity, if you're trying to self promote, that's also a place you can go. It's a learning spot, different perspective. And yeah. All right, guys. I will see you guys in the next video. See ya.